Belal Muhammad mocks Conor McGregor's losses in recent years. The number 4 ranked UFC welterweight contender Belal Muhammad went after Conor McGregor on Twitter by making fun of the Irishman's abysmal record in recent years. Remember, the name posted a picture on Twitter stating that the Irishman has registered just 1 win since 2016, while Muhammad has had his hands raised 12 times. Belal has been on a tear lately. He is currently on a 9-fight win streak, which includes 1 no contest, and took out highly touted prospect Sean Brady via a second-round TKO in his latest fight at UFC 280. Conor McGregor, on the other hand, has currently been out of action since his leg break during his trilogy fight against Dustin Poirier at UFC 264. Furthermore, the Irishman's UFC 246 win against Cowboy is the only combat sports victory of McGregor's career since 2016. Are you interested in watching Belal versus McGregor? And who do you think would win out of the two? Let us know in the comments. Chael Sonnen claims Jon Jones has done nothing during his 3-year layoff. Chael Sonnen has discussed what Jon Jones should have done to further his MMA career during his long hiatus. In an edition of Beyond the Fight, retired MMA star Chael Sonnen alluded to the respect Jones still commands in the UFC. For instance, ever since Jones announced his move to heavyweight, UFC President Dana White has expressed interest in having him fight for the heavyweight title in his divisional debut. Additionally, Sonnen acknowledged that Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou has been one of the most discussed potential matchups in MMA.
When I tell you in 3 years he's never created a fight for himself, for 3 years he hasn't even added fire to a fight that was already created for him. He's done nothing to get public interest. He's done absolutely nothing. But imagine what he could have done, and imagine the spot that he would be in. He could be lobbing grenades at Ciryl Gane. He could be lobbing them at Curtis Blades. He could be throwing them at Tom Aspinall. I mean, right, there'd be no direction that Jon couldn't go, because he's already spoken for. A higher hand, that of Dana White, has already penciled him in to a title shot.
Do you think Sonnen is telling the truth here? Should Jon Jones be more active during his layoff? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Israel Adesanya reacts to Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. Israel Adesanya was one of the last mixed martial artists to face former UFC middleweight champion Anderson Silva. The reigning UFC middleweight champion shared his reaction to Silva's boxing match against Jake Paul. The last stylebender had this to say during the latest episode of his YouTube show.
I love this game. For me though, like even when I watch like Mayweather on Instagram, seeing him like hit the pads or hit the bag, same thing with Silva. I'll always enjoy watching him move. I'll always enjoy even just that. I always enjoy it when he starts to move. I feel nostalgic right now. And this is what Anderson does. He hasn't attacked yet. He's just reading. Classic Silva. He just okay, let me see what's coming. But good from Jake going to the body as well. Like, yeah, now he's starting to move. This is classic, bro. I love this guy. Nah, that's classic. Oh, let's go. Look at Jake. Fuck, it's just you gotta appreciate a master at work, man.
Adesanya has previously shared that Anderson Silva is the reason he began training in martial arts. It is clear that his enjoyment of watching the spider fight has stayed the same. Silva would, however, lose the 8-round boxing match to Jake Paul via unanimous decision. Kamaru Usman believes that the world knows who the best welterweight is. Kamaru Usman may have lost to Leon Edwards, but he still thinks he is the better fighter. It is safe to say many people are still dealing with the shocking victory Edwards scored over Usman in their welterweight title rematch at UFC 278. It was certainly an unexpected outcome and an amazing comeback for the new champion, but it is hard to ignore the relatively fluky nature of the finish. In fact, it appears they will likely have the chance to settle the score, as the UFC is looking to book the rubber match between Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards in the UK at the beginning of the year. Speaking with TMZ Sports recently, Usman leans into the narrative that he is still the best fighter in the world at 170 pounds, no matter the outcome of his fight with Edwards. In fact, he went so far as to say that even Edwards himself knows who the better fighter is between the two of them.
How I'm supposed to do. Yeah. I'm It just looked like you handled it perfectly.
Yeah,
like,
I'm a champion in my. I'm still a champion in my head, and I know that and that's the thing too is, come on guys, we got kidding. The world knows who the best welterweight in the world is.
Right.
And I know who the best welterweight in the world.
Does Leon know that you're better than him?
This is certainly a strong display of confidence from Kamaru Usman, who confirmed that he was looking to fight Leon Edwards in his own backyard to kick off 2023. Time will tell if he is correct about being the best welterweight in the world. Do you still consider Kamaru Usman the best welterweight in the world? Let us know in the comments. George St-Pierre is extremely impressed by Jake Paul's performance in his win over Anderson Silva. Count George St-Pierre among the many wowed by Jake Paul's latest performance inside the ring. Paul defeated former UFC middleweight champion Anderson Silva by unanimous decision on Saturday, improving to 6-0 and scoring the biggest win of his pro boxing career. GSP, a former UFC champion at both welterweight and middleweight, was working the analyst desk for the Showtime boxing pay-per-view at Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona, and he had nothing but positive things to say about Paul's victory.
What's your thoughts on the performance on Jake Paul and Anderson Silva?
Well, amazing performance, you know, like he stayed very disciplined the whole fight, attacked the body to set up the headshot. It was a lot of fun watching it.
And last question, what were your thoughts on the knockdown in the 8th? Was that impressive or was that just...
Yeah, I mean, the whole crowd went crazy, you know, like it was just, I mean, every fight he stepped up his game and yeah, sky is the limit for him.
Awesome, you're the best. Thanks for the time.
With the win, Paul adds Silva to a list of conquests that also includes former MMA champions Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren. It's not clear what Paul's next move is, though he called out both Nate Diaz and Canelo Alvarez in his post-fight interview. St-Pierre thinks Paul would be wise to go to mixed martial arts and fight Diaz, who recently parted ways with the UFC. Khabib claims he was very nervous during his pupil's bout versus Charles Oliveira. Ahead of UFC 280, Makhachev spoke about the presence of his friend and mentor in the corner during his fights. The now lightweight king suggested that Khabib becomes more nervous than he even did for his own appearances in the octagon, which he theorized is down to the personal connection he has with his compatriots. Now, the man himself has confirmed that Makhachev was right with his assessment. During an interview with ESPN MMA's Brett Okamoto, Khabib was asked how nervous he was when Makhachev went toe-to-toe with Oliveira inside the cage.
You want an honest answer?
Yes.
Very nervous.
Why?
Because, brother, like I watch all his life, last 20 years, the way how he works so hard, amateur career, professional career, and now he almost time, you know. This is very hard sport. Anytime, anything can happen. Look at Kamaru Usman. He was winning all 5 rounds, boom, one time, finish, he lose his belt. Same thing, anytime, anything can happen, you know. Charles is so good, he's a high-level fighter. And of course, I was very nervous, you know, because I love this guy. We grew up together. He was my father's favorite student.
Thankfully for Khabib, there was to be no come-from-behind finish for Oliveira, who vowed to regain the belt down the line following his first setback in 11 fights. For Makhachev, the next step in his plan to cement his legacy as one of the greatest of all time will seemingly need to go through pound-for-pound kingpin Alexander Volkanovski. Henry Cejudo calls out Sean O'Malley for a potential interim title fight on the UFC Perth card. The former 2-division UFC champion is looking to face Sugar Sean O'Malley in a potential interim UFC bantamweight title fight at UFC 284 at the RAC Arena in Perth, Australia on February 12, 2023. The interim title suggestion appears to be Henry's jibe at reigning UFC bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling. In the aftermath of the event, Triple C challenged Aljamain Sterling to a title fight. Sterling shot down Henry's challenge and expressed interest in facing O'Malley instead. Not one to be outdone, Triple C has since fired multiple shots at Bump Master, whilst also turning his attention to O'Malley. Triple C urged UFC President Dana White to book an interim UFC bantamweight title fight between himself and Sean O'Malley, indicating that he'd like the fight to transpire at UFC 284 in the land down under. Triple C wrote, "Hey Dana White, since Denzel Sterling wants to work on his rap career, he can be called Will Power. How about me versus Ronald Meth Donald for an interim in Australia? I'm short, so I'm used to being down under." This obviously isn't Henry's first interaction with O'Malley. Most of you have seen their viral video where Triple C crashes Sugar's backstage interview at UFC 276. If you haven't watched it, here it is. Have a laugh.
Okay. Did you see the interaction this week with Henry Cejudo and Aljamain Sterling? And what did you make of that?
I didn't see that.
You want a matchup? He's right here. I'd love a tune-up. What do you say, Precious?
Serious?
What do you say?
You're good to go now,
Yeah,
huh?
I'm good to go.
Say it.
When would you want to bend the knee at what time? Because I think you absolutely suck.
What do you weigh?
Go ahead, carry on with the interview. Go ahead, carry on.
Okay, it's cringy. No one takes that dude serious.
I
We're
honestly,
gonna be smiling, laughing. He's not even taking that serious.
Cody Garbrandt calls TJ Dillashaw a bitch for his injury. Since their two fights, the careers of TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt have gone in wildly different directions, with Dillashaw having most recently competed for the title once again, losing to Aljamain Sterling after an exasperated pre-existing shoulder injury led to his second-round TKO for the reigning champ. While Dillashaw was quick to point out that his shoulder has dislocated upwards of 20 times in camp, Garbrandt is not so quick to buy into these excuses. Taking to Twitter, Garbrandt explained that while he was preparing to fight Dillashaw, the UFC went to great lengths to help make sure he could compete with a back injury, and he still did not complain after losing the fight. This dude is a bitch. 10 days before our first fight, the UFC flew me to Las Vegas to get epidural shots in my back because I couldn't even walk. I didn't make any excuses or cry about it after I lost this cheating bastard. Me versus TJ. Book that shit. Ipo can't save you anymore. Garbrandt wrote. The person who said that time heals all wounds has clearly not met Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw, as it seems that there is still some serious animosity between the two of them. Would you be interested in seeing a trilogy fight between Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw? Let us know in the comments. That's all for today's video. If you want to know the latest UFC news, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell, and click the like button so you don't miss any details about the upcoming fights. Thanks for watching. See you soon.